years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is it's a cold Monday. Let's sort of start with that. Downright frigid over the last couple of days, but in spite of that, I'm in a really good mood, and I'm going to explain to Kelly Holcomb here in just a second as we pull him up why that is the case. Kelly, the actual last-minute toy store is this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And earlier today, I unloaded a check to the last-minute toy store for just south of $20,000. And I'm pretty stoked.
Stuff, George. That is good stuff, man. I've said it every time you bring it up, but it's an unbelievable deal that you hold at the bowling alley. I know it's rough on you. We've talked about my my golf tournament that I had for years, and we've talked about guys calling the day of the golf tournament, and I know how hard that stuff is, and kudos to you and all the people that help you, because I know it's not just you, but it's an awesome thing to do.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt in November. It's an incredible event come December the 1st, and the benefits that people will see in the 3 days at the end of the week, that's really what it's all about. We will broadcast from the Last Minute Toy Store on Friday. Very much looking forward to that. On Thursday, we will be at Sports and Social, where we will give away this Thursday a $15,000 golf cart to some lucky winner. Parker, I don't know how to tell you this. It will not be you.
No, unfortunately, it'll not. It will not be me, but at least somebody else will get it, and that's what it's all about, right?
Something like that, yeah. It's the Christmas season.
Yeah, it's the Christmas season. Kelly, has your heart grown at all since the Christmas season started?
What, Parker?
Do you not get that reference?
My heart grown towards you? Towards anybody?
Have you not seen The Grinch?
Yeah, but I don't remember that stuff, Parker. I don't watch it yearly like you do, homie.
See, George,
You probably watch it in the summertime.
I don't expect it.
You're such a goon. You know?
Oh, by the way, if you want to see an absolutely hilarious Christmas movie, watch The Four Christmases.
That is funny.
Oh, my God.
That is a funny movie.
Vince Vaughn is hilarious in that thing. But we must move forward. Every day during football season, we begin the show with the Daily Titans update. Terry McCormick is Main Street Media. He's TitanInsider.com. And he's also about 20 minutes having landed from the Bay Area about 20 minutes ago. Terry, how are you?
I'm tired, but doing good, George. How are you?
Are you in the airport?
I am. I am still in the airport.
It sounded really cool in the background.
Yeah, it's there's announcements and all kinds of people hustling and bustling by, that sort of thing. But that's how it is this time of year, especially at the airport.
So give us right off the bat the injury situation, because I know it's fairly significant.
Yeah, they lost 6 guys yesterday to injuries in that game. In fact, they lost 3 safeties, Xavier Woods and Kevin Winston to hamstring injuries, Mike Brown to an ankle injury. They were down to their last 2 healthy safeties to finish that ball game yesterday, and those 3 guys went out pretty early in the process, all in the first half. They also, Kevin Zeitler exited with a groin injury that had been bothering him. Cedric Gray had a concussion, and Van Jefferson injured his back, making that 43-yard catch down there at the on the goal line.
Yeah, and that looked nasty. So that's the injury update. Terry, hang with us because that injury update brought to you by the folks at the Dr. Gill Center.
Are you tired of living with back pain? What would you do if the pain was gone?
At the Dr. Gill Center, we've helped thousands of people over the last 30 years break free from pain and get back to living life. We're committed to your outcomes, and our caring team listens, understands, and offers real solutions to neuropathy, back pain, and joint pain without unnecessary surgery or medication. Choose the clinic that listens. Choose the clinic that cares. Call the Dr. Gill Center today at 615-882-4838.
Let's make your pain-free life a reality.
Not necessarily the case when it comes to the Titans. Terry, I didn't think their defense brought anything to the table yesterday.
No, their defense was horrible yesterday, George. 49ers were 9 of 15 on third down, including converting their first 7 attempts on third down. The 49ers didn't punt once. So that kind of tells you where the Titans are at defensively in that game. The only time they got a stop was when Jeffrey Simmons got the strip sack of Brock Purdy and forced the fumble there that Kyer Elam was able to recover.
What can you tell us about the Jeffrey Simmons touchdown? Because in a day where not much went particularly well, and in a deal where it's not like anybody thought they were going out there to win, I certainly didn't think they'd win out there. That was at least a cool moment.
Yeah, it was. It was one of those deals where Simmons was, sent out as a, eligible tight end and extra blocker. He was sent out into the pass route. He was the first read on the play. You see Cam Ward start to drift back in the pocket. He gets all the way back to about the 18-yard line after they had been first and goal at the 1. And the play breaks down. He starts to scramble and looking for a way to get rid of the ball. Simmons was covered up. He decided to book it over to the middle of the back of the end zone, and then he's wide open. And in that process, Ward happens to see him and fires a perfect strike. The coolest part of that was, they had repped that play in practice, but they had not repped a scramble drill off of it. So it basically was just instinctive play by Simmons and then by Ward to find it.
Love it. Maybe the highlight of the season. And Jeffrey Simmons, let me say this, Terry, he deserves a moment like that. He has had to sit through a ton of crap over the last 3 years. And for him to have a moment like that, I think he's deserving of that.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I think he's been the one beacon of hope on this franchise the last 2 or 3 years. There are no more Derrick Henrys, no more A.J. Browns, no more Ryan Tannehills on this roster to help carry things through. And Simmons is the last guy, standing in terms of, highlight players on this team, guys who are quality, NFL stars. And, really, they really they could use about 6 more Jeffrey Simmonses and maybe they wouldn't be in the mess they're in.
You got that right. Terry, glad that you've made it back safely. Appreciate the efforts you've made to come on with us as you're having just landed at Nashville International or whatever it is we call it. Thank you for the visit. We'll do it again tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good, George. See ya.
That's Terry McCormick with his daily Titans update.
And where does that bring us? By the way, I'd like to congratulate America on winning the Army-Navy game this weekend. It was a phenomenal game. It always is. But that brings us to America's favorite update.
Best national anthem I've heard in a long time.
Amen.
Among those who attended, former University of Tennessee play-by-play voice Bob Kessling, who will join us on Thursday to talk about how cool it was. And man, he's got some stories about the whole thing. It will make you very proud to be an American.
Already am, George. Already am. I should let you know that this update is sponsored by our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Join us Thursday at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall as the LA Rams take on the Seattle Seahawks. And don't forget, we'll be giving away the $15,000 golf cart courtesy of Mikey's Motors.
Yes.
And I'd also like to say, please forgive me if it sounds like I've swallowed a frog. I'm battling a head cold right now, but I'm going to push through like good soldiers do.
You mean like this?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You remember
I know.
when you were going to Indiana, George? And how that's how I feel.
It isn't all that much better now.
Oh, man.
You sound the same, Parker. You sound the same. You sound like Skolnick off Revenge of the Nerds.
It's always good to have Kelly and his heartwarming thoughts aimed at you.
I don't know what I would do without it
during this
honestly.
holiday season.
Right. So I'm sure you've both seen the videos around social media. Well, not Kelly, because he lives under a rock and he doesn't have social media. But Diego Pavia did not win the Heisman Trophy. It was Fernando Mendoza. But the storyline was Diego Pavia, after the fact, went clubbing in downtown New York City, posted on his social medias, F the voters, F Indiana. That obviously got a lot of traction. Not a good look for the Vanderbilt quarterback.
Well, let me say this. He's talked about that he would like to, play in the NFL. And I don't think this kind of thing helps him. I also am not totally convinced his brothers do a lot to help him. You worry a little bit, Kelly, that the NFL GMs on a guy that's not going to get drafted in the first or second round, that some of them are going to say, I don't want the headache.
That's exactly what they're going to say. I don't want to deal with that. Somebody may. I don't know, George, but, that's the feelings that he has, obviously, and then he was made to get off. He needed to apologize, but he didn't really want to apologize because that's what he truly feels. But
well, actually, he did apologize. In fairness,
he did. Absolutely. Yeah, he did apologize. I understand that. I get that. But I hate that it came to that. Like, don't just humble yourself. Say, hey, Fernando Mendoza had a really good season. I honestly think that Diego Pavia meant more to his team. I really did, and I thought he probably deserved it. But I told everybody a couple of weeks ago, if Fernando Mendoza wins the Big Ten championship, he's going to win the Heisman. That's just the way it was.
I thought Fernando Mendoza's speech was incredible.
It was fantastic.
It was fantastic. It was really good.
I can't say a crossword about that man. He's great.
He seems like a great kid.
So this news just came out not too long ago, but it's kind of ironic because Ole Miss has hired LSU's former general manager in Austin Thomas, who I believe is one of the best general managers in the country. They pulled a switcheroo.
What is that? Okay, the GM is the one that goes out acquiring players. There's also the person that heads up the collective, and that's a guy I did a game with once, Walker Jones, who is incredibly talented and would not have followed Lane Kiffin to LSU if hell was freezing over.
This is incredible, though. It's like the NFL South or it's NFL in college. Like back in the day, I told Coach Donnelly that one day. He's got a GM, and Coach Donnelly just laughed. I mean, because Coach Donnelly was the GM. He was everything. All these coaches were everything, and now we've got a player personnel guy. We got a director of ops. We got all this stuff, and it's amazing how far it's come.
Yeah.
In the NFL, Patrick Mahomes and Micah Parsons have both suffered torn ACLs yesterday afternoon. The Chiefs are also eliminated from playoff contention for the first time since 2014.
Which makes their visit here Sunday a lot less meaningful. No Mahomes, no Chiefs in playoff contention. Kelly, they got a lot of work to do. I don't pretend to know at this point when Patrick Mahomes will be able to play again, but it feels like they need a real overhaul.
I don't know about that, but they've had some key injuries. I don't think Kelsey. Do we think Kelsey's coming back? I'm sure he's said stuff, but nobody knows if he's coming back. Nobody knows if Andy Reid's going to come back now because he can't go after this third. So I don't know or how many Super Bowls he's gotten, but I don't know. And they do have to have an overhaul. I don't know. I still think they got guys in place, but like they hadn't had their whole receiving core all year. They've had this guy hurt, then another guy gets hurt, and then one comes back, and then another one gets hurt. It's been kind of musical chairs out in Kansas City, and they haven't had that in the last on this run. They haven't had it like they had this year.
On the Micah Parsons front, I agree with what most of the talking heads have put out there. Without him, they're a very good team. They're not a great team. They're not a Super Bowl team without Micah Parsons. They're just not.
I'd have to agree.
No, they're not. Absolutely.
The transfer portal mania is getting started as several notable quarterbacks have announced that they plan to enter. DJ Lagway being one, Dylan Raiola, Brennan Sorsby, Aiden Childs, to name a few. There have been a couple that said that they're going to return on newly discussed contracts, Lenore Sellers and Malik Washington at Maryland.
So here's the story on Raiola, why this should not be any kind of a surprise. Matt Rule fired his uncle, who I think was the offensive line coach, booted him a week ago. So, I wouldn't expect that to go over well.
And his brother decommitted. His brother was a quarterback recruit. So
there's some signs that that something wasn't,
that should not come as a shock to anybody.
They were not doing kumbaya together.
Jeffrey Simmons' house, this is sad. Jeffrey Simmons' house was burglarized last night while he was in San Francisco. I believe it was around the time of the game, and Jeffrey Simmons came back around 1 a.m. and found that his house was burglarized. It's really sad. Really sad.
That is sad.
That stuff has been happening. We're just now finding out about it. It's amazing that it hasn't happened in my time, which it might have. But people are starting to understand that if you got to, I just think that's ridiculous. I really do. And it's sad because there's some security issues when you come back home with your family, your wife. Your wife's doesn't feel like she's safe. It kind of sucks that people are doing that.
Yeah.
There is a conspiracy out there that some believe that there's like this international network of burglars that are, because this has happened to so many people. Joe Burrow, Travis Kelce, I think Mahomes. This happened to Mahomes, Richard Sherman. So there's a theory that there's this international network of burglars. So I hope that's not the case.
Sad.
And last bit of news, Kalen Bohr has shut down the Michigan rumors he's staying put at Alabama.
Well, what the hell took him so long?
He was trying to see if the money was right, George.
Yeah, there's something about the delay that says, here's what else says. Well, you know what? Hold on to that. After the Titans analysis, which truly is award-winning, Parker, as opposed to your update.
Oh, don't diss the update, George.
After that, a few more 100,000 thoughts about what's going on at Michigan. Some of you who watched the show on Friday heard quite the little tirade on my end. You'll hear more around 3:40 this afternoon. Then, one of Kelly Holcomb's former teammates, one of the few that speaks to him.
It's good, George. I love it.
Former University of Kentucky legend Tim Couch will join us at 4:00. We'll talk to him about all the new doings going on up in the Commonwealth with the firing of Mark Stoops and the hiring of a new staff. So get ready. We'll open the phones around 4:25. Looking forward to red-blooded Americans participating on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Here's David Levy of Levy's Men's and Women's Wear in Green Hills.
Hey, George. As a 170-year-old clothier, we are loaded for the holiday season with great gift items for you or your significant other. Plus, we have front door parking, experienced associates to answer your questions, free gift wrap, and we are surprisingly affordable, even for you. This holiday season, treat yourself to a touch of luxury without any of the fuss. Levy's Green Hills, 3900 Hillsborough Pike, across from Virtus and behind Donut Den.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. And medicalhousecalls.com.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
We are back, and we're talking a little Titans football, at least for a few minutes on this Monday afternoon from our digs at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. Kelly, give me your thoughts on what we saw yesterday out in the Bay Area. Is that simply defense doesn't have enough stuff, or was there an effort issue? What did you think?
Am I muted here? All
Yeah,
right.
go ahead.
I thought the defense obviously did not play well. When you go 7 for 7 in the NFL to start the game on third downs, and I think they ended up 9 of 15. Is that what it was? So that's 60% completion or a 60% third down conversion rate. When you're doing that in the National Football League, you're losing the game. I just thought they didn't look good. I do find some glimpses of now. I know that Nick Bosa is not playing for those guys, and he's different. He's a difference maker. He's kind of like Micah Parsons you just talked about, George. But I thought when Tony Pollard got his second game in a row of over 100 yards, I thought that was a true positive, because if you can start running the football, and if you run the football on a good defense like that, you're going to be in some games, and you're going to have some shots to win the games. I thought defensively was awful, but I'm thinking to myself, is that because San Francisco was kind of clicking yesterday? Like, that's the Brock Purdy that we have. I mean, he was injured, and he's been injured quite a bit the last couple of years, but he was injured earlier in the year, and then he came back, and he had that really bad game where he threw, like a bunch of interceptions, and he didn't look like Brock. But yesterday, after he's gotten his feet on the ground, I thought he looked like Brock Purdy that we know, and I think that they just ran into a juggernaut yesterday with the San Francisco offense, with them being able to run the football with Christian McCaffrey. They got it to George Kittle, Jawan Jennings, obviously a local kid who went out there and played. He made some magnificent catches, and he played really well. He had 2 scores. I just thought their offense was meshing yesterday. They were rolling him out. I don't think they got enough pressure on him. And if they're running the ball well and they can use play action and keep you guessing, that's just not a good. That's just not good for the Titans. And I think you saw that yesterday. But once again, in the NFL, when you can't get them off the field on third down, you're not going to win, and that's what was happening yesterday. I don't know if it was an effort deal. I really don't, George. I did see a couple of throws once again from Cam Ward that he's got to make. That one that he had Van Jefferson down on the sideline. You got to make that throw in the National Football. You can't overthrow him. And he's still making a couple of those throws. He's got to fix that. He's got to fix his feet, his footwork. But, I mean, he's been hit so much this year that it's understandable that he's not great in the pocket with his feet right now. That is understandable. I thought that was great when they got y'all talked about it when they got Jeffrey Simmons a ball in the end zone. You could tell how athletic the guy is. Now, I will say this. That was a bad flat route by him because he got up back in the corners route. Both those guys were on top of each other, but he's a defensive lineman, and he worked his way open, and he was able to get that, to catch that ball. But
he had good instincts, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he knew when, to get open. Like when Cam Ward started moving around, he knew to get open. But that's just how the Titans are right now, George. Last week they squeezed one out against the Cleveland Browns. This week they were playing one of the and if the San Francisco 49ers play like that, they've got a long run ahead of them probably because I thought they've got the Seattle Seahawks as one of the better teams in the league right now, but that was the San Francisco team that I think everybody thought was coming into the year, and now they're starting to gel at the right time, so don't be surprised. Now, they can go on a bad track here. They were playing the Titans, but like if they look like they looked yesterday going forward, they're going to be in it.
So let's take a look at the positives and the negatives because it's very similar to what Kelly put out there. To me, the positives are these two veterans. And yep. Kelly, I don't know what's going to happen necessarily long term, but my hope is, in particular with Jeffrey Simmons, that he gets a chance to play in the new stadium because he's seen a lot of crap in the old one. Tony Pollard, the guy's just a pro. And the more I see him, the more I admire him.
He's just a pro, George. You get guys like that on the team that you have to build around, and hopefully, I don't know what his contract situation is either, but hopefully they can keep him. They can keep him here because that guy can play. And then you got Tyjae Spears comes in that does kind of different things from him. But Tony Pollard is a hard football player. He is a hard runner that you want in the backfield with you. When he sees that hole, he hits it full speed. And I would love to see him stay here because I think that's what you can build around. And like I said, his second 100-yard game in a row, if they can build on that, they're doing something. Jeffrey Simmons, you're absolutely right. I don't want it to be like and this is talking about one of my former teams, but like a Myles Garrett situation in Cleveland where he's stuck and he has no chance of winning. At least Jeffrey Simmons has got something to look forward to in the new stadium, and hopefully he can make it there, and hopefully Borgonzi can kind of take this thing over and get him some pieces around him, get Cam Ward some pieces around him, and they could get into some winning here in the next couple of years because I think both those guys deserve it.
That's what they're going to have to do in the draft. People have been asking me left and right, if you were the Titans, what would you do with the first-round draft pick? And I'm like, well, I'd try to trade it and get 2 first-round or even a first-round pick and an early second round because the Titans have so many holes. What you just need to do is you just go out and get really, really good football players and go from there. It's really that simple because there are just too many holes to try to fill with one draft and one cycle of free agency.
So let me ask both of you to weigh in here because if we're being honest, the only thing left about this season involves Cam Ward and whatever his level of development is or it isn't. It's not like this football team in the final 3 weeks of the season is going to catch fire and the city just, oh my God, look at the Titans. They're headed to the playoffs. That's not going to happen. Right. So really all that's left is the evaluation of Cam Ward. But guys, I'm really having a hard time trying to figure out what I think. Because on one hand, there's certain things that I see that I'm like, I don't know. But then it hits me that he's got very little to work with. He has the worst receiving core in the National Football League. There are no difference makers, if we're being honest. There really aren't. So what is y'all's evaluation?
That's tough, George. I'm going to still stick to my guns, and I think Cam Ward is the guy. I think he's got some mechanical things he's got to work on with his elbow. I think he's got to get better in some things. He's got to get that mental clock going off in his head about when you've got to get rid of the football and holding on to it too long. I think there's things. I hope they bring somebody in here that can utilize his abilities, and if they are struggling next year, get rid of the ball, get the ball out of his hand, call plays to get balls out of. And that's not talking about those wide receiver screens. I'm talking about like some stick routes, like some slant routes, like other things like that. Just, I hope they help him. I think he's the guy, George, but I'm with you on the receiving core. I think those two younger guys are keepers. I think DK and Ayuman I think they're keepers. Now, I don't know if they can be number one guys. That still remains to be seen. I'm not sure that they can. I think they need to get him a big-time receiver. I'm loving – and I knew we were going to talk about this today, but the Okonkwo guy, I think he's a ball player. I really do, and I love them getting him the ball a little bit yesterday, although there were some screens. And I think the Gunnar Helms kid, I think like if you match those two guys up, there's nothing better than tight ends. There's nothing better than a Gronkowski. And when they had Hernandez there. Yeah, there's nothing better. You get so many mismatches, and like you could use Gunnar Helms as he needs to learn how to block a little better, but that comes with a little bit of age. But the Okonkwo guy can be a like a 1A 1B type of deal where he can be the receiving tight end, and then Gunnar Helms he can go out and he's making plays too, and then he can be the blocker if need be, and then you can get both those guys on the field at the same time, but. They've got to get him a number one receiver, and they've got to get him some offensive linemen. And I know that y'all talked about the draft, and I'm with you, Parker. I think that they need to probably try to do something with that pick. But if there is a left tackle out there that you feel like is a can't-miss tackle, I think that's what you have to do in when you're drafting offensive linemen. I think you draft two tackles, and I think you can go through free agency and find guys inside there. I think, but if you got a number one tackle that you think is a can't miss, which I don't know if there ever is a can't miss, but if there's a guy out there that you can get, I think you draft him instead of trading that pick. But if he's not, trade that pick and get a bunch of picks.
Yeah, Kelly, I'm with you. I'm sticking to my guns as well. And if you're talking about tackles in the draft, I think there are two that the Titans would consider taking. That's Spencer Fanu from Utah and Francis Mauigoa from Miami. But outside of that, I don't know if I see any other tackles that the Titans would be willing to take that early. But as far as Cam Ward is concerned, I still believe that he's going to be the guy. Like you said, Kelly, there are some mechanical things that he has to figure out with his elbow. I'd like to see him get his elbow up just a little bit. It doesn't have to be, straight up and down, but it also can't continue to be the sidearm flicks that we're seeing all the time where it's getting batted down at the line of scrimmage. Here's another thing that I want to see is that throw that he missed to Van Jefferson. It was either Van Jefferson or Chimdike deep down the field that would have been a touchdown. I believe it was Van Jefferson, right, George?
Yeah.
Yeah. That can't happen. There are going to be lots of ups and downs in your rookie year and early on, really, in your career in general, but you got to hit the layups. Not everything can be 150-mile-per-hour fastball. I watched Sunday Night Football last night. I saw some of the same issues with J.J. McCarthy. He's throwing absolute darts all the time, and I just like to see a little bit of touch. So that's something that I'd like to see from Cam Ward going into year two.
So let me also address a little bit the head coaching thing. If you really think about what we've gotten so far as where that's going, the only name of any real substance that I see put out there is Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy's the offensive coordinator in Kansas City, although we all know Andy Reid is the guy doing the play calling. Nagy was the head coach of the Chicago Bears, did not do well there, but he joins a list of people in Chicago. That doesn't necessarily mean he couldn't be a head football, a good coach, but it does mean that in Chicago, he kind of bombed. I am taking, Kelly, the fact that they've been able to keep whatever it is they're doing quiet as a positive sign or on Borgonzi, or at least I'm sure looking for positives, because to me, Borgonzi is the one possibility that hadn't been infected inside that place. I got no confidence in Brinker, got even less confidence in Burke Nihill, have no confidence in Amy Adams Strunk. Borgonzi, to me, is the one hope of a real Titans fan. And I think the fact that a lot of stuff hadn't gotten out about whatever they're doing, I think is a positive.
I kind of think you're right, George. I don't know the Borgonzi guy. I just know that he was in an organization in Kansas City who knows how to win. And Brett Veach, who was a young guy when I went, who was the general manager there, and I went to when I went to Philadelphia, he was a young kid trying to learn the game. But they brought him up, and they make really good decisions out there. And I think with this draft, with Cam Ward, with the two young kids at receiver, I think that he's hit on some there. That's more than they've done in the last decade. And I think if they just allow him to do his job, which that's what I worry about, George. I know you say you don't have any confidence. I don't know if I do either. I don't know if they're going to meddle with him and allow him not to do his job. I think if they do, then he'll find somebody good. Now, I don't know. I don't know about the Matt Nagy guy. I really don't. Like, some guys are good coordinators, some guys are good position coaches. But you always get the coordinators that go to be head coaches, and then they kind of bomb. And you see Ben Johnson, what he's done since he came from Detroit and went to Chicago. He's done very well there.
Killing it.
He's killing it. Now, that's not saying that he's going to keep it up. But obviously he struck something there, and he knows ball. Matt Nagy did he have the same opportunity? I don't know. I don't know what was all in place when he took that. I don't know. He may be a better coordinator. I don't know. You have to leave it up to guys like Borgonzi to figure that out, who's been around him, who maybe can, when he brings him in, can help him along the way. I don't know, George. But, what if Mike Tomlin? What if Mike Tomlin comes on the market? What if he runs his welcome out in Pittsburgh? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what if Mike Tomlin becomes available? Like, do you go and try to put everything you've got into getting Mike Tomlin here? But I think you had that in Mike Vrabel. I think Mike Tomlin is a alpha personality. I think he's a type A personality. And is that who you want? I mean, I'm sure that the fans would want that. But, when you go for Mike Vrabel and then you get what you get with Brian Callahan, what is that telling your fans, and what does that say about you as an organization? I know what it says to me. What does it say to you guys?
Well, it says that she didn't want an alpha anymore because she was tired of him bitching about certain things, which included the fact that he didn't know that A.J. Brown was being traded. And he also went off about the fact that he didn't think Rand Carthon was ready to be an NFL general manager. He
Correct.
was 2 out of 2. She didn't want to hear it. And so she and Burke Nihill got together. They hired Brian Callahan, who, in fairness, as a coordinator, had never been a play caller. Obviously he was overmatched. One of the good things that has happened since his dismissal is that Chigakonkwo has been released from witness protection.
He can play. That dude can play. He can play.
Of all the dumb things that were going on, they locked him up in some witness protection program and never used him. And I was like, what the hell? You've got a legit tight end. Use him.
Use him. Absolutely.
And I honestly think you can sign him to a 2-year cheap deal. It's kind of like a Chicago Bears situation in my mind because they drafted Colston Loveland so high, so he's going to be their guy. But they still have Cole Kmet there. You didn't draft Gunnar Helmus high, but I still have confidence that he's going to be Cam Ward's safety blanket because I've watched him practice, I've seen him play, and I see what he does with the ball in his hands. Chigakonkwo, we know what he is as a blocker at this point. He's not a really good blocker, but he's kind of like that Swiss Army knife. If you just find creative ways to get him the ball, he can make stuff happen. He's the team's leading receiver. So you could sign him to a cheap 2-year deal and still develop Gunnar Helm.
Okay, after the break, the latest developments in the University of Michigan Athletic Department loony bin. Stay tuned. You're going to love this on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Here's David Levy of Levy's Men's and Women's Wear in Green Hills.
George, Levy's holiday collection is packed with bold looks, cozy favorites, and gifts that will make you and your loved ones smile. Come visit us at Levy's and let us help you celebrate the holidays in a relaxed, friendly atmosphere with plenty of front door parking, free gift wrap, and we are surprisingly affordable. Levy's, 3900 Hillsborough Pike, across from Virtus and behind Donut Den.
The George Plaster Show gets advertisers the results they're looking for. Here's Officer Darren Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
Show advertising family, it's simple. Just email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. Again, plastergeorge@gmail.com. We will fit your budget and your needs.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, here is the latest on the Michigan Looney Bin, which is their athletic department. I would just send Ward Manuel this, Christmas thought. Enjoy Ann Arbor this Christmas because you won't be around next year.
King George, really?
Yeah.
He shouldn't be.
So I want you to hear me out on this, Kelly. I kind of went through some of this on Friday, but I'm going to do it again. Friends of mine up in that area who I talked to late last week were telling me that the fact that Tron Moore was having an affair was really no big secret around town, that it was a pretty open knowledge kind of deal. And if you think about it, there had been a lot of rumors in the final few weeks of the regular season that he was in some trouble. So people were sort of putting two and two together without just saying, okay, he's having an inappropriate affair. Okay, so think about the timeline. Last Monday, she breaks off their relationship. On Tuesday, she goes to the University of Michigan and spills the beans. Now, the University of Michigan had already gotten an anonymous tip on this thing, and they had hired these dimwits from something called Jenner and Block out of Chicago,
Chicago
which, of
law
course, couldn't come up with anything. You know, they spent weeks investigating, and they couldn't come back to the University of Michigan with doodly squat. Now, as a friend of mine in the legal business brought up to me earlier today, perhaps that's because the University of Michigan didn't want to find anything out. Oh, I got dead silence there, didn't I?
Hey, that happens a lot, George.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. No, I'm listening.
So
Keep
now,
going.
okay. So now we have a scenario where on Tuesday the woman spills the beans, and now Ward Manuel has no choice but to let go of Sharon Moore. Now, it has been reported that he did this in an office without any human resources people, whatever. And I'm not going to get into that as to whether that was smart or not smart, but that has been reported. So now we got a University of Michigan athletic department. Think about it. Over the last 3 years, we had a basketball coach essentially confront a visiting coach. And ultimately, before it was all over, Jawan Howard was no longer the coach at Michigan. By the way, Dusty May is killing it. They're the best team in college basketball.
Might be National Coach of the Year before it's all said and done.
Has anybody watched them? Oh, my God.
They are blowing out teams.
They are killing people. Okay, so we have that incident. Then we have Connor Stallions, where nobody knew anything about anything. Harbaugh didn't know it. The athletic director didn't know it. Nobody knows anything except that old Connor has Central Michigan stuff. He's got disguises. He's got all kinds of stuff going on. And now we've got a head football coach who comes in after Harbaugh leaves, and we know what's going on with him. So the university president decides over the weekend what we've all known. The University of Michigan Athletic Department is a loony bin. And so he announces, and he sent out this email to students and constituents and whatever, that we're going to get to the bottom of all this. Guess who they hired to come to the bottom of all of it?
Jenner and Block.
Jenner and Block. The same blockheads that couldn't find anything in the first investigation that they were asked to pursue. And now they're being asked to pursue a second investigation. Hello? Anybody home?
George, they'll figure it out at some time, man. Why are you being so hard on them?
Let me ask you this. Is it possible that what I'm saying is true?
Oh, it's totally true. I mean, and there's obviously somebody that is trying to, that is an insider that's trying to give these people some money. That's how all that garbage works. They're not going to find anything. They're probably not going to look for anything. It's just.
Sorry, Kelly, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Parker. That's how this stuff works, though, George. It's all conspiracy, but like that is how that stuff works. Somebody knows this firm. They're going to pay them money, and more than likely, they're not going to find anything.
But I mean, is somebody not internally saying, wait a minute, these blockheads couldn't give us one piece of information as a private investigator group to figure out what was going on with the football coach and this woman? So we're going to reward them with a second investigation? Hello?
Well, from what I heard, Michigan knew about this, or at least was aware that something was going on, and obviously your friends that you talked to knew about it as well. So it was the worst kept secret. They knew about it in the fall. Truthfully, I believe that Michigan didn't believe that Sharon Moore was going to be the guy, and that if Michigan went 7-5 or even 8-4, they might have fired him regardless. But then that's what I'm saying. The timing of this is all very suspicious. And it seems convenient because if they were to fire him, they'd have to pay him a lot of money. Now, with this coming out, they don't have to pay him anything. They can just fire him with cause.
And so is life. That's how life works. Unfortunately.
Well, I'm just saying that the timing of this.
This feels like, number one, it feels like a movie. Does it not?
It does.
They're gonna make several E60s about this, I'm sure. Or 30 for 30s, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. And ultimately, they're not going to be able to keep Ward Manuel because
why have they not fired him by now?
Well,
that's the question.
I don't know. But obviously how am I trying to say this? The body of public opinion has figured it out. You have 3 separate cases that suggest that something culturally in there
is wrong.
Is wrong. Something's not right at Michigan. Okay. So now they're conducting an investigation. I will admit, I'm very surprised that the president was this big a bonehead to then hire the same firm that couldn't come up with one shred of evidence about a story that a lot of people up there are saying, yeah, it was an open secret.
Well, to make matters worse, they don't have a permanent president right now. They have an interim. So that just adds to it.
I agree, George. I'm really cynical about this stuff, because sometimes when, that somebody hires a firm like that, kickbacks are being made, friendships are in there's so many things that are intertwined in this stuff. It's like a web. It's like a spider web with this stuff. And I don't know. You're right. I don't understand why he hasn't, because this falls under his watch, Ward Manuel's watch. This falls under this is his organization. He's supposed to be head of it. That obviously means that, you either know what's going on and you're just turning a blind eye, which is kind of looks that way. But if it's going through your organization and you're allowing it to happen, we can't let it happen anymore. And he's got to be gone.
So let me take it to the football world. So I'm assuming right now Ward Manuel has been charged with finding their new football coach. And assuming that these coaching candidates have half a brain, they're asking questions like, hey, Ward, you going to be here? Okay, that's question number one.
That's absolutely.
Are you going to be here? And Ward Manuel may be telling him yes, but the coach is sitting there going, I have half a brain. This doesn't look good. So I'm going to be hired by somebody who likely isn't going to be here quickly. Then you try to go to the president to say, what's going on here? Are you going to be here? No, I'm the interim. So a search that I believed that Michigan needed to end very, very quickly, like by now, because of all the timing of the calendars and the portal and all that crap. Suddenly, they haven't hired anybody unless you all know something in the last 15 minutes that I'm not aware of. And I'm just wondering if candidates out there are sitting there going, yeah, I'd like to be the head coach at Michigan, but I want to know what I'm dealing with. And they can't give him the answers.
Well, that's why I made the comment when I said that they need to make sure that everything internally is straight before, because what head coaching candidate is going to want to walk into this mess when they don't have a permanent president? They don't know if the athletic director is going to be there. I mean, would you want to take the job? Why would Kalen DeBoer want to leave Alabama and go to Michigan?
Yeah, but then again, fellas, it's Michigan. I know. I totally understand what you guys are saying, because I would have those questions too, and I would have those reservations too. But there's people out there that their dream job is being the University of Michigan head coach. And it goes back to what I say about these young kids nowadays about, hey, just because they don't have a coach, they're offering me $750,000. Am I going to go? Yeah, I'm probably going to go. It doesn't matter who's going to be the coach. I'm going to go for the money. Like, does that matter at the University of Michigan?
All I know is this. This is a mess. Somebody's going to take that job, maybe because of what Kelly has suggested, that they just want to be the Michigan coach and they'll worry about all the other stuff later. And by the way, there's some reason that it took Kalen DeBoer until the weekend to tell us that he wasn't going to be involved in Michigan. What was it? I don't know. I have my suspicions. Anyway, this is a movie. Get ready. It'll be a 30 for 30 in a theater down the road from you in the very near future. Hour number 1 is in the books. Tim Couch, University of Kentucky legend, joins us next on the George Plaster Show. If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobitz. Our forecast keeping it cold in the afternoon, but not quite as bad as it's been the last 36 hours or so. We'll take ourselves into the mid to upper 30s and plenty of sunshine. Crystal clear tonight, down to the low 20s.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
The perfect gift. Lavish and luxurious, yet affordable. Breathtaking and joy-inspiring, yet simple for you. The gift card from A Moment's Peace. A spa day she customizes exactly the way she wants. Give her the gift she won't buy herself. An escape, a bit of luxury, something special that shows how much you care. A gift card from A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. Call 615-224-0770 or go online at amomentspeace.com.
Nobody does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Nobody. Whatever you're craving, we've got it. Tequila cocktails, premium bourbon pours, and top shelf spirits served over ice balls that hit just right. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails? Yep, all here. And don't forget the teeth-chattering 29-degree drafts we're famous for. Pair it all with scratch kitchen bites that actually satisfy, from shareables to hearty favorites. When it comes to happy hour, Twin Peaks doesn't play. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, scenic views.
No one in Middle Tennessee should face hunger alone. With rising costs and recent disruptions to federal programs, right now too many families, many for the first time, are struggling to put food on the table. Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee is here to help and needs your support. Whether you're seeking assistance or want to give back through donations or volunteering, visit secondharvestmidtn.org. Every dollar, every can, and every helping hand makes a difference. Stand with us, because together we can end hunger in our community.
Join us for the Pink Christmas Sweet 16 Gala, Saturday, December 20th at 6 p.m. at the Sheraton Grand in Nashville. Celebrating 16 years of Pink Christmas and our mission to uplift breast cancer survivors and their families in the Nashville and Memphis areas. Enjoy live entertainment, a festive marketplace, and a silent auction filled with unique items and meaningful holiday gifts. Join us for an inspiring evening centered on celebration, community, and purpose. Get your tickets now at ourpinkchristmas.com.
Amber and Ian. I have had this discussion with many a parent, anybody who tells me that on a day in, day out basis, you don't have a favorite child. You're full of crap. Tell me right now, who's your favorite kid today?
My favorite kid today? I don't know if I have one today.
That's a blatant lie. I'm looking right at you.
Amber and Ian. Weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Time for our stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. We got a good one. This season will be the first AFC title game without either Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady starting at quarterback since the 2010 season. Who were the two quarterbacks in that game?
Oh, wow. Okay, Kelly.
Hold on. I got this.
Okay.
This season will be first AFC title game without either Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady starting at QB since the 2000. Would it be Peyton Manning and Mark Sanchez?
Okay. Let him go with this.
Okay.
Let's see what it is.
Do you have an idea, George?
No. I'm staying out of this. This one's Kelly's.
Okay.
Oh, Big Ben and Mark Sanchez.
Very close.
Mark Sanchez. How about it?
Okay. Well done, though, Kelly. I mean, that's 50% of it. Kelly, I want you to know that I have prepared an introduction for Tim Couch that Tim is going to love. You, maybe not so much.
Okay. All right. Is Timmy on with us?
He is absolutely on with us. Now, I want you to listen to this closely. Okay, because for a younger audience, they may not remember how good this guy was. In 1998, he was the Southeastern Conference Player of the Year. He was also a Heisman finalist. He was also the number one pick in the NFL draft in April of that next year, 99. He was also a teammate of yours. Where would that rank among his thrills? Let's bring Tim Couch in here, who I know will probably enjoy a good laugh. Tim, how in the world are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you guys. How are you?
So where did that rank? I mean, you've got all these accolades right around that time, and then you're stuck with Kelly. That had to be a downer.
It was good, man. I love playing with Kelly. We had a great time. Kelly made it fun. We were obviously very competitive, and we pushed each other. But we also knew how to have a good time and make the meetings fun. So I love being around Kelly and that whole quarterback room. I thought we had a really good group of guys that made coming to work every day a lot of fun.
Kelly, did you like that intro? I put some thought into that.
I did. You did put some thought in that. He got to throw the ball to guys like Craig Yeast back in the day. His guy.
Yeast. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, your boy Yeast back in the day. How you been? Yeah. How you been, Tim? You good?
I'm good, Kelly. Good to see you, man. How you been?
How's the family, man? The kids good? How'd your boy do? this year?
Everybody's good, man. Yeah, my son, he just he redshirted last year, so he was a redshirt freshman this year. I just went up to his last game of the season. He got to play at Fenway Park up in Boston, so it was a really cool experience. He got to go in the game at the end of the game. And he got a sack on his first play in college, so it was really cool to see. So he had a good year. Then my youngest son, he's a sophomore at Lexington Christian Academy. They just won the state championship this year a couple of weeks ago. So both boys are doing great, man, and really proud of them both.
Now, I don't think either one of them are quarterbacks, though, are they?
No, the oldest is a defensive end, and youngest is a wide receiver right now. I think he's going to grow into a tight end at some point. He's already 6'3", about 210 right now, so he's going to be a big boy.
Yeah. I got that couch gene, man. I wish my son had the couch gene, but he didn't. He's got the Hokum gene, man.
How's my man Jameson doing?
He's good, man. They won the conference championship. They made the playoffs. They just they couldn't get, they were flat that game, man. They came out flat and didn't play well. So it is what it is. So, hey, we obviously wanted to talk to you about, we got a huge contingency of Kentucky fans down here. Was it a surprise about Mark Stoops? I know how involved you are with the program, and we got to eat with you and your girl up there a couple of years ago, and they were playing, Jameson was playing against Kentucky, but I know you were close to him. Was that a surprise to you?
We have been very close. Mark's been here he was here for 13 years, which in today's, college football world is unheard of for somebody to be at a school that long. So we were super close, and but I think I think after this year, the way we had been trending the last 2 to 3 years, kind of in a downward trend, I think everyone kind of saw it coming. I think it was time for a change. I think everyone was kind of on board with that. Mark, I think in my opinion, he's the best football coach we've ever had at University of Kentucky. He won 10 games 2 times while he was here. We've only done that 3 times in the history of our program. He had 2 of them. He went to 8 straight bowl games. He did some unbelievable things, put a ton of dudes in the NFL, developed a lot of good players. So we're very, very thankful for Mark and what he did for the university. But I think it was time for kind of a new voice for the program, some fresh eyes on it. And I think the guy we went out and found, Will Stein, I think is going to do an unbelievable job here. Young guy, offensive-minded coach, and we're all excited about what he's going to bring to UK football.
This is probably a hard question for you, Tim, but why was the downward trend, man? Like what happened? Because he obviously, he's gotten older, but he didn't change. He didn't lose his knowledge of the game of college football. Like, what was the downward trend? And do you think, since all he had done for the Kentucky program, that he needed a little bit longer leash than he got?
I think that's tough. I think there was a lot of things that played into kind of the downward trend that have been going on here the last few years. I think, the NIL and the portal and all that stuff, when that came into play, that's kind of when we started going downhill. I think Mark and his staff was doing an unbelievable job at going out and recruiting guys and developing them once they got on campus. And that all kind of changed with the portal. You kind of had to go out and, find guys and just plug them in and play from different universities and trying to mesh all those, different backgrounds and different personalities into a locker room, and in just one quick off season. So we had a lot of change at the quarterback position over the last few years. We had a different starter each year for the last at least 3 or 4 years, and then also we had a lot of change at the offensive coordinator position. Liam Cohen was here twice. He had 2 stints at the University of Kentucky where he did an unbelievable job for us, and now as the head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars, doing an unbelievable job for them as well. But just a lot of new faces, a lot of change on the offensive side of the ball, for Kentucky over the last several years. And that's hard to do. As you know, Kel, we went through that with, coaching changes and offensive coordinators coming in every year and, things like that. It's hard on quarterbacks to kind of adjust to that and to get guys, develop them in your system. So I think all that kind of played into why we were kind of trending down the last few years.
You're leading me into another question about the quarterbacks, but I'm going to ask you another question. I know you talked about Will Stein, the new coach. What do you like about him? I know you've met him. I know you've talked to him, obviously, but what do you like about him and the system that he's going to bring in?
Well, I like a lot of things about him. I think he's done an unbelievable job wherever he's been. He's doing great things at Oregon right now over the last couple of years, and he's developed some really good quarterbacks, Bo Nix, and some of these guys that he's been associated with. But he's going to bring a fun style of play into Kentucky, which I think is much needed right now. Mark is obviously a great defensive minded coach, and so I think this will kind of be fun for the fans. To go out and watch an explosive offense and put a lot of points on the board. And I think, the main thing I'm excited about is I think it's going to pair well with the quarterback we have here on campus right now in Cutter Boley. Cutter got an opportunity to start this year for most of the season for us as a redshirt freshman, and did some great things, had some great games. Obviously had some ups and downs as you'll have as a young player, but I think he's our future. I think he's the face of kind of our program going forward, and kind of pair him with Coach Stein and his offense and his system. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think they're going to do great things. I think he'll be able to recruit quarterbacks and wide receivers that want to come in here and play in this offense, play in the SEC. So he's got a lot of positives about him. He's a young guy, but I think that's good. I think he's he's going to be young and energetic, first time head coach. He's been waiting his turn and done a lot of good things on the offensive side of the ball. So we'll see how he does as a head coach and putting a staff together and navigating the world of NIL and portal and all that kind of stuff you have to deal with as a coach. But I'm really excited about him. I thought our athletic director Mitch Barnhart did a great job of going out and finding the kind of the right fit for us at the right time.
College football is changing, and we know that. We see it. The last 3 years, it's changed tremendously. We can't even recognize it from when you and I played. But
right.
I said this a couple of weeks ago on the show, and I want to know your input because we're both quarterbacks. We're all three. Parker, young man that you see right there, he's a quarterback as well. But
what
just
does
tell
that leave
people.
me as?
Well,
you played quarterback in fifth grade, George.
Nobody cares about your fifth grade aspirations, George. Nobody cares. But
I was damn good in fifth grade.
But with these QBs transferring, it takes so long to learn an offense, and you can't do it. Like I was amazed at what Joey Aguilar did this year at Tennessee with as good as he played because he was there for the start of training camp. And I know we're seeing Phillip Rivers do what he did, but he's experienced. He's been through it. He understands it. But you get these young quarterbacks that transfer, and they're transferring every year, and it's hard to learn an offense. Can you be the best you can be with all this transferring, Tim?
I don't think so. I don't like it. I think especially at the quarterback position, I think, nowadays, back when we played, Kelly, you went into a university as a freshman and you had to work your way up. There were guys there that were already established and that was understood. You're not going to walk on campus and start, probably as a freshman. And there's going to be guys ahead of you and you have to embrace that competition. And I think the further you go on and play this game, if you're fortunate enough to make it to the NFL, you better be able to embrace competition because you're going to have it at that level. And a lot of these guys, they kind of run from it. Honestly, they if something doesn't go their way, they have a bad season or whatever, they just transfer out. You watch the draft nowadays, and guys get picked, and they'll say, "Well, he played at least 3 schools. Some of them played at 4 different schools," and it's just unbelievable to me, man. Like, I love the competition. I think you need to deal with failure. I think it shouldn't just be all success. I think, anybody can, perform and, handle things when it's going well. They're having a lot of success. What are you going to do when adversity hits? When you throw 3 interceptions and you got a guy behind you pushing you who's a good player and you got to go to work and find a way to improve yourself and stay on the field. I think you learn a lot of valuable lessons by going through those things. But, that's kind of the world we're in now. Guys, they get unhappy and, they're hitting that transfer portal as soon as they can.
And this is the last question because I know these guys want to ask some questions. This is my B question to that is when they got so many guys transferring and you're seeing all these young men, they're not learning the game. They're not learning the position of football. And now all these coaches want these guys to run around. And you could run. You were obviously a better athlete than me, but you could run around. But we were both pocket passers. Yeah. How frustrating is it to watch to you, because it's frustrating to me, and these guys hear it all the time on the podcast, but it's frustrating to me to watch these guys just run around. They have no pocket awareness. They just when somebody comes, they don't step up into the pocket. They take off running. Is it frustrating to you? Because I think the production of the game is kind of going downhill, and I think this transfer portal is kind of the start of it.
I think you make awesome points, Kelly. I agree with you on everything you said, man. I think especially for our kind of age group of quarterbacks who were taught to stand in the pocket and how to work that tackle box and slide over a gap, find throwing lanes, doing all those things you have to do, going through reads and progressions and everything like that. It just seems like a lot of almost like backyard ball now. You go out there, you try to find your first guy. If he's not there, you take off running or you scramble around and just try to extend plays, and guys eventually pop open. But I think it has regressed at the quarterback position as far as guys standing in the pocket, moving a man, sliding protections, understanding how to get yourself picked up against certain looks, against blitzes, and throwing where's your hots and your side adjustments, all those things that we had to do as quarterbacks back in the day. I think it's just a different game, man. It really is, and it does get frustrating to watch at times, but that's just kind of the world we're living in right now.
Hey, Tim, tell us what's your memory like of that night in New York as a Heisman finalist? And you know why I'm asking it. Diego Pavia just was up there. What was it like for you?
It was unbelievable. It's something, you go to college and you always just want to be the best player you can be for your teammates and your coaches and, representing your family and those things. The last thing you ever dream about is ending up in New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony, so it's just kind of a whirlwind thing. And, for me, I thought I had a decent opportunity to win it that year. I probably needed a couple more wins. And then I think I would have had a chance, but Ricky Williams won it my year, and Ricky had an unbelievable season in '98. I think he broke the all-time rushing record that year. So it was just a cool experience to be around those guys, to experience that. It was actually my first time I'd ever been to New York, was that trip to the Heisman. So it was just a lot of fun. I remember enjoying it with, being there with my family and everybody. And it was just an awesome memory for all of us to get to go and experience that and, be at the Heisman ceremony and meet all the folks there that run that deal. And so it was a really cool moment for all of us.
Okay, Kelly, listen very closely. This is 28 years ago. This is a memory I have of this guy. You ready?
Yeah.
So I was Vandy's announcer at the time, and I think it's fair to say we weren't very good. We had just lost earlier that day to LSU on a botched extra point, 7-6. Cecil the Diesel Collins was at LSU, and he broke his leg at that game. I had been invited, and I was pissed off with the way it went down. We had a chance to beat them. But I'm invited to a party to watch Kentucky that had a hotshot quarterback named Tim Couch beat Alabama in Lexington. And I know you've got some memories of that. Mine was how happy I was for Coach Newton, who was like a second dad for me. Man, what was that night like for you?
Well, that was certainly one of my best memories from college. Kentucky hadn't beaten Alabama, and I believe it was 75 years or so since Kentucky had beaten Bama. And but we just kind of felt like it was kind of going to be our night. The game went back and forth. A lot of things happened in that game. We blocked a field goal, ran it back for a touchdown. The game ends up going into overtime. And, we get the ball and, we stop. They get the ball first. We stop them. We score. We win. And it was like a 3rd and 8 or something like that. We go over to the sideline and, as Kelly mentioned earlier, Craig Yeast, of course, is standing on the sideline screaming at us. He can get open on the backside on this curl route. And we were just trying to get a first down, to be honest. And, I throw Craig the ball and he slips the tackle and he goes into the end zone. And I just remember as soon as I saw the ref's hands go up, I saw the entire stadium come onto the field. And it was, they're tearing the goalpost down, and it was just a wild moment. I mean, it's kind of, that moment you live for, you dream about is, Kelly can tell you as a college quarterback, if you say, what's kind of the dream scenario, to throw a touchdown pass in overtime to beat Alabama, that's it. That's the highest thing you can think of as a quarterback. That's such a cool moment that I got to experience with my teammates and coaches, Hal Mummy and Mike Leach and all those guys we had on that staff back in the day. So certainly one of those moments I'll never forget.
So the story can now be told, Kelly. Tim's heard some of it. I called Coach Newton 2 days after he'd hired Hal Mummy, and I said, what the hell are you doing? Who is this guy? Okay, and obviously Coach Newton filed that away, and perhaps he used it against me at a later date where he made an absolute fool out of me and loved every minute of it. But Tim, tell us a little bit about Mummy, because the truth of it is Coach Newton didn't know who he was. A former Vandy wide receiver, Carl Parker, who lived in Valdosta, picked up the phone and called Coach Newton and said, before you hire anybody, you got to come down and watch this guy. Tell me a little more.
My reaction when he got hired was the same as yours. I didn't know who the hell he was either. And I'd never heard about Valdosta State, to be honest with you. So, I was actually going to transfer because, Coach Curry, Bill Curry was there my freshman year. They had me running the option, and obviously I'm not an option quarterback. So Coach Curry got fired, but I was already kind of, I was going to end up transferring to Tennessee, where I originally committed coming out of high school before I ended up signing with Kentucky. But CM came to me and he said, just go through this coaching search process with us. Give us a little time. I'm going to find a guy that suits your skill set. And will you go through the process with us before you hit the transfer, before you transfer? And I said, absolutely, I'll do that. Yeah, for sure. Not thinking much about it. He hires, some guy from Valdosta State, Hal Mummy. I'd never heard of him. He's got an offensive coordinator coming with him named Mike Leach. Never heard of him. But I go over to, they get to Lexington, and I was like, I'll have a meeting with him. So I sat down with Hal and Mike, and Hal says, the first thing he says to me, because there was kind of a quarterback controversy at the time. Billy Jack Haskins was the starting quarterback at Kentucky, who's going to be a senior and, had been a good player here, option type of guy. And Hal looks at me and he goes, you're the starting quarterback, and I'm going to let you throw it 50 times a game. And I was like looking around, am I dreaming right now? This is exactly what I wanted to hear. So I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stick around and play for this guy. And obviously it worked out for us all. And Mike went on to be what he became in the coaching world, and how, trendsetter, starting that air raid offense, which is still being run all across the country even today, which that they started back then. So it was cool to be a part of that with those guys. And, those guys were just they were kind of ahead of the game. They really were. They were doing things before people were doing it back, in the late 90s. So it was really cool to be there with those guys and get to learn the passing game and offensive football from those guys.
So Parker,
hold on, George, your boy Coach Mummy's coaching again, right?
Yeah.
He's coaching again.
At a Division III school, right?
Yeah, Division III or NAIA. Yeah.
NAIA, yeah.
So Parker, they had a PA announcer. They were trying to jazz up Kentucky football. And they had this guy every time Tim would throw for a first down, and this guy would yell out, "First down, Kentucky!"
We hadn't seen many first downs a few years before that, so they were excited about first downs.
And Commonwealth, which had been like a burial ground before Tim got there, the place is going nuts. The place is full. It was really cool to watch, but go ahead.
So, Tim, I actually have two bits of information for you. One, I ran the air raid in college, so I have great respect for Hal Mummy and Mike Leach. They're two of my favorites ever. And second, I have a little side gig that I do. I train quarterbacks with QB Vision, a small little business here in Nashville, and we've trained Cutter Boley. So I'm very familiar with Cutter. I've worked out with Cutter before. I wanted to ask you, because I know with Will Stein coming in and the type of offense that he ran at Oregon, it's very, the quarterback's almost like a point guard. Think of Dylan Gabriel, Bo Nix, get the ball out within 2 seconds, maybe a little bit more than 2 seconds. How do you see that meshing with Cutter's skill set?
I think it'll do well. I actually, Cutter played with my oldest son in high school his last 2 years. He went to Lexington Christian Academy. So I got to watch Cutter for 2 years, every snap he took for those 2 years in high school, and obviously what he's done at UK. So Cutter is extremely athletic. He's 6'5", and he's obviously looks like a pocket passer. This dude can run, and he's very athletic. He can make you miss. He's tough. He's very intelligent. He can get rid of the football quickly. So, I think it's going to be a really good mesh with Stein and his system. I think Cutter will be a great fit for it. He can throw the ball down the field. He's got a big arm, and and like I said, he's athletic. He can get out and make plays with his legs when he needs to. So I think it's going to be a really good fit. I'm really excited for Coach Stein to get here, put this system in, and kind of see how it fits the players we have on campus right now.
And out of all the coaching candidates, I'd kind of say when this Kentucky job came open, Will Stein was the only name that I really heard. So it sounds like Kentucky got their guy. If they, zeroed in, it got him right away.
They did. They locked in on him. I think they were interested in Hartline too, the offensive coordinator from Ohio State. I think there was a little interest with those two guys, but I do think Stein was their main guy that they had kind of zeroed in on. He's from Kentucky. He played quarterback at Louisville in college. He grew up in Louisville. Went to St. X High School. Grew up a Kentucky fan. He was. It was neat to hear him at his press conference talk about all the games that he remembered going to. With his dad and sitting in the stands, and now he's getting an opportunity to coach at Kentucky. So it was a really cool thing to have him, back here and have his family back here as the head coach. And I couldn't be more excited that he's our guy.
Okay, we close out with this important question. Tim, did you ever just take Kelly behind the woodshed in basketball?
In basketball,
did you ever just say, I can kick your butt?
We talked a lot of trash about basketball. I don't know if we really went out and actually played seriously. I think we may have played a little bit, just messing around, shooting around a little bit, stuff like that. But we did. There was a lot of trash talk in basketball, that's for sure.
Kelly,
there was a lot of trash talking in our position meetings as well.
In anything, yeah. We had a competitive.
I told you it was a lot of stupid talk as well.
There's plenty of that going on. Yeah.
What's the most embarrassing Kelly story you have?
Oh, good Lord, we're off the air in 30 minutes. You think he could answer that?
Just give me a quick story.
I have told them the story about when I put that little rosin in your sock.
The blue dye. That was a great Kelly story. He got us good, man. We had blue feet. He put it in our socks as well, socks and jocks. So everything was blue there for a few days, man. You couldn't get rid of that stuff. There was a lot of pranks going on in there.
That's just what you need in a teammate.
Oh yeah.
Okay. We ended. Well, Kelly, you want to say goodbye?
Hey, man, I appreciate it.
Absolutely,
good luck to you, man. Tell your family I said what's up, man, and I'll tell mine. I know you said what's up. We'll talk afterwards, man, but I appreciate it. Love you, brother.
Love you too, brother. Good to see you, man. Good to see you guys.
See you, Tim. Take care. I'll tell you one thing. When it got out that he was going to Kentucky, that was about as big a news as Kentucky football had in a long, long time.
Man. Well, it's really funny, George, because he was a Tennessee fan, and over there in eastern Kentucky where he lived, he wanted to go to the University of Tennessee because he grew up a Tennessee Vols fan, and old Pops didn't like that. His Pops did not like that. And I think there was some ultimatums put down, and I think in the end he won. But just like Tim said, if Bill Curry, like why if you're Tim, like you know your athleticism, you threw the ball in high school, why do you go to Kentucky when Bill Curry was running the option? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was wanting to go to Tennessee, and it just worked out for him and how Mummy got there, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
He's at Century College of Louisiana. I think that's the name of the school he's at.
Is where Hal Mummy is.
Yeah.
Well, the Coach Newton's answer to me, I called him about 3 days later, and I said, "Have you lost your mind?" And he said to me, I wasn't aware that I needed your help, but now that I know it's available, what I'd like you to do is sit by the phone at all times so that if I need you, you will always be there. And I was like, have your fun. But I
wish I could have met him because he seemed cynical.
Man,
he screwed with me unmercifully.
Good for him.
And he got even with me. I won't go into the full story, but he got even with me, after Mummy hit it big that first year. He was the cat daddy, pun intended. And, now it's obvious that I'm wrong. And Coach Newton got back at me beautifully. Okay, I know we're going to go to the break on this, and I know we're going to get phone calls when we come back. What I want are red-blooded Americans who have stuff that they want to get into that is on their mind. Here's our phone number, 615-759-9949. Again, 615-759-9949. 49. Please fill up those phone lines. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Celebrity Bowling Night.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
We're back. Some of you heard the commercial that involves Strike and Spare, and that's me kind of speaking from the heart. They did a wonderful job again in the 5th annual Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. We turned over a check earlier today to the Last Minute Toy Store for just south of $20,000. You can buy a lot of toys with $20,000. So I was really excited about that. We'll broadcast from the Last Minute Toy Store on Friday. On Thursday, Sports and Social in Green Hills. On Thursday, we will give away that $15,000 golf cart, courtesy of the folks at Mikey's Motors. Kenny, on line one, get us started.
Well, good afternoon, George. How are you doing?
Good. Hope you are.
Parker, Kelly, y'all doing great today?
Yes, sir.
I'm
We're
doing
good.
fantastic.
George, you brought back a really, really bad memory
Uh-oh.
when you brought up the Vanderbilt LSU game.
Oh God.
And I don't know if you remember this, but I was out there with one of my best friends, Brad Gaines,
Oh gosh.
after the game, and you were there on a Monday, and you sat in front of McGugan telling us everything in the world that was wrong with. They were going to go for two. They got a procedure call that backed them up. They went for it again, didn't get it, but they had a penalty on LSU. And then when they tried to kick it, if I'm not mistaken, he missed it.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
just want to thank you for just bringing my cold Monday to a screeching halt.
Hey,
That's what you get for listening to George when it comes to football. You
is it
shouldn't have
not
done
hard
that back
to believe,
then.
though? That's been 28 years ago.
Well, I tell you what, George, it still hurts because you understand why Woody did it. Because if he beats them 8-7, that's a program boost for as bad as they were the first year after Dowhauer left. So, but anyway, thanks for bringing that memory up.
Hey.
And also congratulations on everything that you do for that, last minute toy store and everything. And that's a credit to you and everything. And then I got a comment, then I'll let you go. I know you got more people on the line, but I was really, really disappointed being a lifelong Vanderbilt fan. I was sitting at the basketball game Saturday night because I was nervous and couldn't just sit at home and watch the Heisman. So I was at the basketball game and I kept waiting. And then I saw where Mendoza had won it. So I was like, well, okay, he probably finished second. But I was sitting there thinking, you know what? Eventually, they're gonna build something for him out there. If they continue to trend the way they are, build the program, they will build a statue for him some way, somehow. And I think the 2 years of goodwill and the good things he's done has been tore down quite a bit with his actions, and no apologies he could ever render would ever, build that back up. And I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, I wish that hadn't happened. I get his disappointment. I thought he would get closer to winning. He really wasn't close at all. None of them were. Mendoza won it pretty much in kind of a landslide. I wish he hadn't done that. I'll just leave it at that. It's not a good move, and the apology obviously was appropriate. But these pro people are looking at this stuff, and it's not good.
It's hard, George, when you come out of an emotional deal like that where you felt like you had an opportunity. When you're going on raw emotion, you have to take a deep breath when something like that happens, and you have to take the high road on stuff like that. I've been in situations like that. It's not easy. It's not easy because you want to say what's on your mind, you want to say what's on your heart, but when you get to that, like that, you just can't do that, George, because that has a negative tone, a negative effect on you.
Let's go, Jeff in Murfreesboro. Jeff, welcome. Okay, we may not have him. Then let's go, Eric in Nashville. Eric, welcome.
Hey, George, can you hear me?
Sure can.
George. Oh,
yes,
okay.
sir.
Hey, George, a couple of things. I'm going to get to the Heisman stuff with Diego in a minute, but real quick on the Titans. Kelly, I kind of agree with you. Defense didn't play well, although I will say there were a couple of penalties I thought were questionable. There was one particular on 39, which is like, what in the world was that? I'm not saying they won the game. I give credit to the quarterback, Brock Purdy, the way he played, because he played a great game, and just the way in the 49ers were relentless, especially scoring on the drives. I think it was 5 of the first 6 drives or whatever it was that they scored on. You got to take your hats off to them, and the Titans also for not giving up. Didn't see the whole game. I was at church from my Christmas program, and I found out at the end of this program that Jeffrey Simmons had caught a touchdown pass from some friends, and he also recovered the fumble, so I was really happy for that. But then to learn, that, of course, later on today that his house got burglarized, which I hate hearing that. That's disgusting. Seems like that's a force that's a trend just for anybody, celebrity, entertainment, whatever, whether you're a pro football player, pro athlete, musician, or an actor, to have your house, vandalized like that. It's just sad. It's ridiculous that all this stuff is happening. You're getting targeted. Now, as far as the Heisman, George, and you guys may or may not agree with me, I think one of the reasons that Mendoza won, you have to look at, I think the Heisman Trophy voters were looking at moments, and the fact that he had the game against Oregon and won, that last second touchdown against Penn State, also the fact that he beat Ohio State in the Big 12 championship game, that extra game, kind of sealed it for him, whatever you thought about Pavia or whatever, and the fact that it was undefeated and number 1 in the country. I mean, that's just what's amazing. And Pavia and a lot of his biggest moments, unfortunately, didn't have the turnovers against Alabama. And also, even though they came back, almost pulled it out, he had the big second half against Texas, but they still didn't win the game. And also reports he got off to kind of a slow start. It wasn't until, I guess it was the LSU game from then on where he played big. But also got to consider, George, you have to think of where he came from before this season, because he wasn't highly touted. The fact that he finished second, he finished ahead of the quarterback from Ohio State, the running back from Notre Dame, as well as Ty Simpson, Alabama, Mateer from Oklahoma, and Arch Manning of Texas, who I think all those were kind of rated above him. That's just astounding. But also agree with you guys, just a lot of this stuff doesn't help his cause with NFL and general managers, people's looking at it. And also report, George, I don't know if you heard that last week one of the local media people wanted to interview him at an event, and their request was denied. And I don't know if that was Vanderbilt. Some I've heard reports saying it was them. I've heard other things that Pavia has dictated what media stuff he'll do and what he doesn't, which I don't know if that's true. But if that is true, that's not a good look. That you can't have a player dictating stuff like that. But the fact that there were reports there was some local media wanted to do interviews with him at an event and some other things that they didn't make him available. That's not a good look. You want to be promoting your Heisman Trophy candidate as much as you can, and also thought that Vanderbilt kind of got the ball rolling a little bit late on that, the PR stuff for the Heisman. But anyway, George, those are my thoughts. I'll get off, let you get some other callers. Y'all guys take care, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, thank you for the call. I wish that I guess it was a tweet, hadn't gotten out there. I get that there's frustration, but you can't do that, period.
Emotions, man. You can't let your emotions get the best of you in a situation like that. It's hard.
Okay, we're going to go to the break on that. Afterwards, I want to ask Clay in Nashville, Jack on line 1, Ryan in Brentwood on line 2. All of you hang in there. I'm going to get to all of you on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Here's David Levy of Levy's Men's and Women's Wear in Green Hills.
George, Levy's holiday collection is packed with bold looks, cozy favorites, and gifts that will make you and your loved ones smile. Come visit us at Levy's and let us help you celebrate the holidays in a relaxed, friendly atmosphere with plenty of front door parking, free gift wrap, and we are surprisingly affordable. Levy's, 3900 Hillsborough Pike, across from Virtus and behind Donut Den. 900 Hillsborough Pike.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. 3400.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we have loaded lines, which is a great thing. I'm going to try and get to all of you, and I ask you to kind of be patient with me. Let's start. Where are we starting? Jack is next. Jack, give me about 3 minutes if you can.
Oh, okay. One of my favorite moments in Vanderbilt football, 1959 at Shield-Watkins Field. I went up there with my dad, and it was spitting snow, real cold. Everybody was drinking Tom Moore whiskey. Started at Vanderbilt. And we beat them that year.
Was that the 7-0? Do you remember what the final score was?
It was something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember the score, but I was 14 years old, and so that's that. Another question is, if Ole Miss happens to win it all, you think they'll give a ring to Kiffin?
2 words, and we'll run on that. It's a good question. Hell no.
I knew it.
That ain't happening. Can you imagine, though? I mean, what would you do at the banquet? You know?
I don't know. Good question. Would you?
A lot of fun.
Would I give him? Hell no.
Would Jack give him one?
Sounds like he was torn. That's why he was asking.
Screw it. He's an LSU
Okay,
Bengal
guys.
Tiger. Hey, thank you for the phone call. I
All righty.
think I got the order of this mixed up. Clay, my apologies. Welcome.
George, I would wait all day to talk to you guys.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
You're a better man than me, Clay.
Off the very top, I've got a habit now. Parker gets his feelings hurt a little pretty easily sometimes. So right off the top, I wanted to recognize Parker.
Oh, thank you, Clay. At least somebody does.
At least somebody acknowledges me on this show.
Do you get your feelings hurt easily?
No, I got the quarterback blood in me. I'm thick-skinned.
Parker's got a little soft as cotton every now and then. There's no question.
Hey, George.
Yes.
Before I get to I have some comments about Diego, but and I'm going to be careful about what I say. But I just wanted to say to you that I will always participate in that event because it is a great cause. I think that's awesome that much money was raised because it makes Christmas, a little better for kids that are less fortunate, and that's important.
Yeah, I hope some of you can come out and just observe what it is that I am so passionate about. Because for the 3 days of this event, there are right at like 31 or 3,200 families that will benefit from what the Last Minute Toy Store does. That's a lot of families coming through that sheriff's warehouse in a 3-day period. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way.
As far as Diego, on the front end, I think you've got to recognize what this guy's done for Vanderbilt football, and I think that will always be remembered. He's put Vanderbilt football, on the map and made Vanderbilt a player. And I have the utmost respect for this guy, for the competitor he is. I mean, the guy's a warrior. And I do think his numbers were, as good as anybody that was up there. I don't really know why, there was some of the separation there was, but, it's a done deal. It is what it is. But I was obviously extremely disappointed to hear about the events afterwards. And here's a guy I think who's always been, kind of an underdog, and he certainly proved a lot of people wrong. But I just wish, that, and I'm sure he will. He's still young. I think he's 23 years old. I'm sorry. But I just hope this is a lesson that he can learn, because I didn't really think about it at the time, but you're right. The NFL people are watching. Don't know if that will, go against them or not. I'm sure it will a little bit, but I'll never doubt this guy, because, I won't say that he won't ever play in the NFL, because I wouldn't be surprised if he does, because the guy's the ultimate competitor.
Clay, because I got a bunch of calls waiting, let me run on that, but thank you for the call.
Thanks.
He is a warrior. There's no doubt about that. And listen, I'll admit up front, I don't think he's going to play in the NFL, but you know what? I'm a little bit like Clay. You tell him he can't do something, and boom.
Well, here's what I'm going to say, George, real quick. Rob Gronkowski, 6'5", 6'6", 270 pounds, can run, can catch. If you say something like that, the NFL will can't turn a blind eye to it. But when you're 5'8", 5'10", they say he's 6 foot. But you look in those pictures, and Jeremiah loves 6 foot, and he's not 6 foot. When you're struggling like that, and I agree he's a competitor, but you have to be on your best behavior all the time, and he wasn't the other night, and that could hurt him.
If you're an underdog already, why make your life harder when you don't have to? It was unwarranted.
Ryan in Brentwood, give me about 2.5 minutes if you can.
I'll be brief, George. I think if the Titans have a 4th or 5th round pick and Diego is there, they need to take him, because he would challenge Cam Ward as a starting quarterback, and it would bring competition to the quarterback position. We need that as a quarterback. We don't have our backup for Titans is a nobody, and it doesn't challenge Cam Ward. Diego would challenge Cam Ward. If we had a chance to take him, I would take him in the 4th or 5th round. I want to thank Parker for coming on my show, and big thanks to him. But other than that, thanks for doing the toy drive and everything, George, that you put on a show, with the bowling event.
We're trying, that's for sure. Listen, thank you for the nice words. Talk to you here soon.
Thank you.
I think that's more a ticket selling kind of deal.
Ryan's that's pretty good right there, because if you want to sell tickets to an organization and to a fan base that has lost all interest, that would do it now.
You can get them on day 3. You can get them on day 3.
That's sort of what we think.
Yep.
And who knows? Who knows what's going to happen between now and then? Tony in Nolensville, give me about 2.5, 3 minutes if you can.
Thank you, George, for taking my call, and I'll be short about this stuff. First of all, Parker, Kelly is hard on you about earlier in the show on the Christmas show and your Christmas heart and all.
Oh, you mean the Grinch?
Parker?
You mean the Grinch? It's not a Christmas show.
Well, it's, here's the thing with Kelly. Kelly needs to go watch some of the shows of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. Little Drummer Boy. All of these shows, I watch them. Prancer, It's a Wonderful Life. I could go down the list with Charlie Brown Christmas. That just gets in your heart, and it brings the spirit of Christmas to life. And, it needs to sometimes stay off of you about some stuff. But at the same time, Parker, I watched last week's show. I was out of town down in Kelly's neck of the woods at Joe Wheeler State Park in Alabama over the weekend. And I did go back and see the show. And Parker, you've got to learn how to say Yastrzemski. I mean, that is a great name in these parts, as well
Man, what
as
are we doing?
it's real easy to say. It's Yastrzemski. So learn how to say that. He's
Tony,
gonna be
I don't.
a
I'm not going to take the blame for that one. I was highly caffeinated that day. I blame the coffee. It wasn't me.
No,
it was
we're not
me.
buying that. That's unacceptable.
I was jittery.
If you
Well,
can't
just like
choose
the quarterback, you're going to blame it on somebody else other than yourself.
Hey, that's this generation, Tony. That's this
Tony, you
generation.
know
He
how
needs
I
to go
roll.
watch all that stuff.
You know how I roll. I don't want any of the blame, but I want all of the praise.
And two
learn how
other
to say
things
yes.
really quick here, Georgia, we'll get over it. Mendoza, I never heard Mendoza acknowledge the three guys sitting there as he won the award. I never heard him mention the class of guys he was with. But Pavia, I will say this about you, buddy, and Georgia, I've talked about it. Kelly, Coach Donnelly told us, Coach Kuchers told us, when you put that uniform on, you never take it off. You're always representing yourself, your family, your university. So when you go out on these streets with your brothers and y'all going to tear up the town, like I mentioned last week, was New York ready for them? You've still got to represent all those people and remember who you represent. So anyway, but Kelly, there's some good Christmas shows coming on. All of you watch them, and I'll let you go.
Especially you, Kelly, and I want feedback.
Hey, Tony, I'm gonna stop calling you Tony and start calling you Dr. Phil. Thanks.
Okay. Let's see. Where do we take this? Where do we take it? I have no idea.
Hey, Kelly, how in the world do you come up with some of these insults? I never even heard of half of these words in Kelly's language.
Like what word?
I had to send him a picture of Louis Skolnick, George.
Skolnick.
It's Revenge of the Nerds. Watch it.
The Nerds.
Watch it. It's a classic in the
You didn't even
80s.
spell
Watch it.
Skolnick right.
Hold on a second. Have you seen Revenge of the Nerds?
Don't make me answer that question on the air.
Oh my God. Okay, we got to work.
That's what we're dealing with, George. We're working with him every day, and that's what we're dealing with. He's worse than Billy.
Oh my God.
Oh. In terms of
I'm
what
not
I've seen and what I haven't seen?
No. Yes, exactly. Correct.
Okay, so we're going to talk about a different level of pain. Dr.
And it's
Gill
pretty
Center
painful.
for back, neck, and chronic pain relief. They chose us. It's an older audience because I've gotten older. Sounds like a record. But when you wake up and you're a little older, sometimes there are aches and pains that you sit there and you say, man, I didn't have any of this when I was in my 20s. And so the question is, are you willing to just put up with this and say to yourself, well, this is just how it has to be? Or are you going to say, you know what? I'm going to seek a little bit of help. And that's where the folks at the Dr. Gill Center come in. For $49 for what is an initial consultation and report of findings, they will get you down a path that is a whole heck of a lot better. They just simply will. And they're really good listeners to what it is you've been dealing with. So I give out the phone number twice because I want somebody to pick up that phone in the morning and call them at 615-882-4838. Again, 615-882-4838. And now to another level of pain.
And this is pretty painful.
Yeah, whatever.
Look at this, Kelly.
Wow, George.
Ugh.
You stink.
Kelly, thank you so much for the encouragement. So I'm 17 under 500. By the end of the night, I will be 16 under because I'm going with the Steel Curtain tonight.
Good pick, George.
They're at home. They're going to have the fan base behind them, and they have a history as one of the most successful teams in the Monday Night Football era. We're taking Aaron Rodgers over Tua. Tomorrow, great show. Tony Basilio, David Cutcliffe. It doesn't get any better. See you then.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bopis. Our forecast keeping it cold in the afternoon, but not quite as bad as it's been the last 36 hours or so. We'll take ourselves into the mid to upper 30s and plenty of sunshine. Crystal